Today's Me Roundtable is going to be for support group leaders, like let's stay active and involved. How can we do that? This has actually been coming up a little bit in my few of my support groups about loneliness and things like that. So let's talk about staying active and involved. The big question is, do you have a schedule? When we're working, a lot of times it's kind of like, what am I, you know what you're going to do today. So if, for example, you take a week off, you're kind of like, what am I going to do today? But when you're retired and that's your everyday, it becomes a little bit more of like, what am I going to do today? And so that's where I really do encourage people to have a schedule so that you don't have to think so much about it. If you know, okay, on Monday, I do this activity. On Tuesday, I do this activity. On Wednesday, I do this. And it makes it just a little bit easier, whether you're meeting friends for cards, whether you're, one of my support group people every day at 4 o'clock in her neighborhood, they meet up for puppy playtime. So it's like she knows every day she has this. I just think it's important to have something every day. Some of you are probably laughing. You're like, I'm busy all the time. What do you mean? So just, remember not everyone is you and has that like 20 things that they're doing every day. But it's just something we really encourage you to do so that it's not such an open-ended, what am I going to do today? If you know, I've got cards today, we have a standing lunch appointment on this day and things like that. So we really do encourage you to set a schedule, commit to an activity that you enjoy and will do. It just keeps you from kind of that, like, what should I do today? And like having to figure that out every day gets old, which is why if you have it kind of set up and ready to go, it's not such a burden. We just recently had somebody talk about, and I love this. She said, what's the best exercise for Parkinson's? And the answer was the one you're going to do. Because again, obviously, I know we talk about this all the time, but we really do want you to stay active. And exercise classes are a great thing to have on your schedule. When you know, okay, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I do rock steady boxing, or I meet friends and we go walking, or I'm going to play pickleball, or I'm going to go swimming. I have a Tai Chi class. Even if you mix it up, but there's just, whatever you're going to enjoy that you're going to do. Because again, this is not meant to be torture. This is meant to be enjoyable and fun. And then, of course, what I really loved is she talked about exercise snacks, which I've never heard the term before, but it's just when you can do little bits of exercise. And so sometimes when I've had a lot of meetings, like I just kind of get up and I do some jumping jacks or something. And again, it doesn't have to be specific to exercise. Gardening counts, mowing the lawn, raking leaves. If you live in a place with snow, which I don't recommend, but if you shovel snow, that's the exercise. You can take the car, if you take the stairs, if you wash your car, cleaning your house, dancing, those are all forms of exercise snacks. It's not really what you think about hard exercise, but you're doing something physical and you're not sitting down on the couch, which is important. So again, we just want you to do the things that kind of just part of everyday life that you would have to do anyway, and just add some movement to it. So now, really just want to ask you, how are you staying active? Or how do you encourage others to stay active and get involved? Obviously, you are a support group leader, so I'm preaching to the choir here. But for, again, not everyone who is you, what are you doing to stay active? And we want to make sure that you're doing that you are encouraging everybody. Yeah, mix it up. Art therapy, whatever you've enjoyed doing that you're going to do, you're going to stay active, hopefully a couple of times a week that you're going to do. We're going to go into our breakout rooms. We're going to give you guys about 50 minutes to talk amongst yourselves. And the big thing is, again, also, how are you also encouraging the people in your group to stay active? Because again, they're showing up to your group, but some of you, your groups are once a month. So what else are they doing so that they can stay active? Kelly will just put you in a breakout room so you don't have to do anything. Welcome back, everyone. I'd love to hear what you guys discussed. I'm going to start with room. You know what? I'm going to start with room 3 because I always go with room 1. So I'm going to mix it up today. So I'm going to go to room 3 first with Dave Orlowski, Larry Bai, Roberta Shine, Bernard, Mary Jane, and Myra. That's a boisterous group. What'd you guys talk about? Who's going to come off mute and tell us? Don't make me call on you.
So in the last 5 seconds of our group together in room 3, I was appointed spokesperson, so I'll give it my best shot. This is Larry talking. Well, how do we stay active and encourage our group members to stay active? In that discussion, I took a couple notes. Let me just look at them here and see what I wrote. In general, staying active, exercise, voice, all that kind of stuff, is not necessarily a focus for the groups in room 3, but it's encouraged through the life of the group. When people talk to each other and say what they're doing, that's one way. There are times when groups have speakers come in to promote exercise or the voice movement. So that's done, not all the time, but on occasion. There is one group, our Texas group, Mary Jane, has a very large dynamic program that's very well structured and organized. And they have like a 10-minute segment of exercise when they gather together as a whole, which sounds pretty cool. We talked about some of the issues around exercising and being active. And Dave brought up a good point about being able to recognize it, particularly the person with Parkinson's, the difference between laziness and just having a bad day physically. And that's an issue that needs to be addressed. And care partners chimed in and talked about, in response to that, about encouraging and pushing and nudging their loved ones to exercise, and to know that they don't particularly know in the moment whether or not it's laziness or a difficult day, but just by pushing, you kind of find that out, and that it's important to nudge. And I forget who said this, but I like this. In their group and with each other, they try to eliminate objections to moving, which is probably kind of the laziness, but getting people to team up as buddies and work together to encourage and hold each other accountable to exercise together. That's what some people do. And if you've, this is an example that I think it was Roberta from New York said that or Myra, I don't remember. Anyway, somebody said, and it was good, that if you're pushing and nudging, a person with Parkinson's to exercise, they don't want to because they maybe get up and they walk a track or something, but they're not willing to do that today. But at least get up and walk around your chair 3 times. Do something, even a little bit, and be proud of what you've done, no matter what level it might be. I guess the last thing is something that I mentioned, that we don't have a big emphasis in our group in Palm Desert about exercise, but we have speakers come in occasionally, and we support other groups. We have a pretty significant Songshine group where there's music and practicing a loud voice and through song. And so the others, our support group, even though that's a different group, we support that. We go to their programs that they have after their series, and it's fun, and we do that. So I guess I'll stop at that point.
I was just going to throw in, Eden, that first of all, this was a fantastic group that I could have sat there and talked with all day. It was such a good group. Two things I want to mention. We talked a lot about the age-old issue of having a speaker versus non-speakers at meetings. That's one of the biggest, that and driving are two of the biggest topics you can bring up. And Bernard had a catchy phrase that I liked, how he said they split their group into caregivers and people with Parkinson's, and he called it the beauty shop and the barber shop. Yeah, that I thought was pretty good.
I like that. Now, what do you guys discuss as far as speakers versus, like whether some people want speakers and they just want caring and sharing, or what? Tell me a little bit about that. Now I'm curious.
I think people just kind of shared what they do, and then we kind of commented on each other. So some people have meet once a month, and they'll have a speaker, and then they'll do a roundtable where the people in the audience get to talk together about the topic that was shared at first. Our particular group, we've got care partners and PWPs that meet on a weekly basis for an hour. We're almost always separate, except maybe once every 2 months we'll have a speaker come in and we'll join together. And that's just led by, I'm the facilitator of the care partners group, and people get to say whatever their week has been like, and we just listen to each other.
See, and I brought up the fact that in our particular support group, which is once a month, 3 out of 4 meetings we have a speaker, which is good in some sense, but doesn't give people a chance to really open up to their feelings. And that's why I suggested, like you well know, Eden, that we belong to that Tuesday resilience group. That it's nice to belong to more than one support group. Maybe you don't get to speak much in your monthly meeting where there's too many people, or you don't feel comfortable speaking in front of so many people. But you have a smaller group like we have on Tuesdays where there's no speaker and it's just what's on your mind. And sometimes we talk about somebody's trip to Ireland, but it's still nice to hear that they're active. But most times we talk about something that's like constipation or something that. Like Judy's favorite topic, constipation. That we talk about that but it's important to somebody that they want to talk about it. So sometimes you need to go to that second or third support group meeting to get the forum, the situation, the opportunity you need to speak your mind. Yeah. And not all support groups are kind of optimized for every occasion, every situation.
That's interesting you say that, because I had somebody in my care partner group say that she feels like she can open up more in the care partner group because nobody actually knows her husband there. So where she's like, when I'm in my regular group, she's like, it's like I can't be not that I can't be as honest per se, but she's like, certain things it's almost like I don't want to share because they know us. Whereas I'm like, she's right. I probably couldn't pick her husband out of a lineup because like I've heard his name, but I've never met him or anything.
And I was to say one more quick thing. The other debate issue in the last couple of years we don't know has become in-person meetings versus Zoom meetings. And while the in-person meetings are great too for the eye-to-eye contact, there's a lot to be said for the Zoom meetings where you can sit there in your underwear and nobody knows and you feel more comfortable. It's true, you feel more comfortable. Or if you're having a shaky day, if you're shaking a lot that day, you feel more comfortable because it's off most of it is off camera. So it's another debate: speaker, non-speaker, and Zoom versus in person. You could neither one are correct. There's both good sides to both. Good arguments for both sides.
You're right, because again, if you're not feeling like driving today,
that's right. Or if you're not able to,
yeah.
It's easier. This was a great group. I agree. I was pleased to see us. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just pleased to see that topic brought up because my meetings are mainly I have speakers come in because often I was leaving an hour that we could share. And I'd say, okay, anybody have something they'd like? And it just never opened up. And I'm like, I can't do a soft shoe. I'm not great at that. But you know, some of these things were really, the ideas that came up were really good. Because I think we do have to get back to, you know, let these people get to know each other more.
Yeah.
You know, I have done some of the mixer kinds of things where they have to go around and find people. And then when I did that last month, and they said, my God, I've been coming to this building for how many years? I've never talked like this to anybody. So I was like, whoa, that was good. But meantime, the rest of the year I have speakers, but I could leave more time. I mean, I could leave a little bit more time before the speaker comes to open up. One other idea that was brought up that I thought was good, have somebody come and talk about his life, what he's done, what they've done. And, you know, don't make anybody come that doesn't feel comfortable. You know, let it start out and other people will feel comfortable, but we're all their people. We've had whole lives. And yes, we've been hit with Parkinson's, but what happened in the rest of the life? And that's important.
Yeah.
I did that for your group, Myra.
Pardon?
I did that for your group.
Yes, I agree. I will. That's one thing that I can start out with and try to do more. But that is something I've always thought of that. I don't want to have a whole hour that nobody's going to talk, or what am I going to do kind of thing. So we've, you know, I've gotten good speakers and all, but I think the other is important too. Okay, I'll turn off.
I'm glad group 3 had a good time. It sounds like you guys really connected, and I love that. Now I'm going to ask group 2. We've got Judy, we've got Corey, we've got Greg, we've got Dave, and we've got Karen. Who'd like to share?
I just want to say I didn't mention constipation one time. But somebody else can talk. If I'd like to introduce Anne. Is she still there? Anne was from a senior living community, and she had a lot of questions for us about support groups and how to start them, etc. So
Anne left to go to a meeting.
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay, Anne left to go to a meeting, so she's no longer in the chat session. But no, I thought we had a good meeting. We had talk about speakers, and some of us like them, some of us do not. Some of us like to engage with the people, and some good work with in Panama City, Florida, with exercise. A lot of good, encouraging things there that I picked up on, and you know, learning from each other is important. I like to get the people involved to talk about themselves and their friends, and get them to meet the other people in the group. You can't let Parkinson's define them as people. They're people first. They just happen to have Parkinson's.
Yeah, one of the people, and she's going to be speaking to us, I think May 12th, Susan Ronick. She does a whole Parkinson's rap, and one of her things is, Parkinson's is what I have, it's not who I am.
Right.
I mentioned Sharon Ka, who has the Parkinson's rap. And we got talking about the World Parkinson's Conference, which is going to be in Phoenix in May of next year, which is kind of exciting, something we get to. And I mentioned her rap. We did that recently. Some of the members in our group did her rap personalized for our group in conjunction with an artistic performance at our recent symposium. And, you know, just put a smile on everybody's face. It was really a lot of fun.
That's wonderful.
Do you have a copy of the rap that you could send us?
You can, yes. I'll send you to Eden. I'll send you, actually it was performed by a group in Edinburgh, Scotland. So I'll send you their words, and I'll also get somebody who did the rap in our group to see if she could send me their words. They sort of personalized it we had 3 people with Parkinson's do the rap, but do look at, you'll find it. Her name is Sharon Ka, K-H-A, and you can look for her rap online. and listen to it. She's giving it a conference down there. She's got everybody moving and smiling and a lot of response. It's just a lot of fun.
It's probably on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you say something about the conference that's coming up? And is it in Arizona, did you say?
Phoenix, Arizona. We're very excited here.
I bet.
Yeah.
For Parkinson's, for
the World Congress, the World Parkinson's Congress that meets usually in places like Spain, Japan, and it's coming to good old Phoenix in the middle of May, which it won't be too bad.
What's the temperature like in May?
26 though, not 25.
26th of May. I'm sorry, what was the other question?
What's the temperature like then?
Oh, Myra, you're chopping up on me here.
It's coming in this month, May 26th?
No, next
year.
2026.
2026.
It means
it meets every.
The last time we met, we talked about a conference that was coming up in August, I think.
Austin is
so
coming
different.
in November. That's all in.
Austin, Texas in July, November.
Yes.
That's the next
All in.
all in. Sorry.
I just put the YouTube link to
sponsoring that so I
the
could
wrap
look it up?
on the chat session.
Sure, I can put that in.
Oh,
It's there. I just put it there for everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah, this World Congress is a big deal.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
fact that they're coming here means they're recognizing that Phoenix is, I think that they're recognizing us as a big center of research for Parkinson's and Alzheimer's right now. So it's, yeah, very, very excited. Can't wait to get involved somehow. There's got to be some way, Eden, we can go get involved.
Anything else from group 2? Okay, how about group 1? We've got Barbara, we've got Karen, we've got Barb, we've got Roger, we've got Randy, and we've got Naomi. Who wants to come off mute?
Hi, I will. Naomi here.
Yep.
And Dave, if you're in your underwear, don't stand up. You guys were talking about the I Am poem and the WPC. So just recently we teamed up with Santa Cruz, Monterey and Santa Cruz, and we raised $7,000 for the Parkinson's Foundation, which we get back in grants and things in our community. But I was the speaker at that event. And the reason I'm sharing that is that when I started, I said, hello, my name is Naomi and I have Parkinson's. But then I went into, but there's a lot more to me. And I did like the I am kind of thing. I'm a mother, and I ended up with, I love chocolate, because I think everyone in our group has a sweet tooth. Yeah. So in our group, there was a lot of great information. There were some things that people do at meetings, at every meeting. Like after 40 minutes, they might do some kind of stretch or active break just to move. Mm-hmm. And at other meetings, every meeting, they always had something where they talked about exercise and being active. Mm-hmm. Another thing that was good is we had one person that always blocked off a certain time of day. So that time of day, like 10 a.m. to 12, that person's going to be working out or has that time set aside to work out. Mm-hmm. And everyone, around her circle would know that. Another thing is being a buddy or having a buddy. So then, I heard that earlier, and that's something that helps hold people accountable, and you don't want to let the other person down, or if you're teaching, you don't want to let your students down. So that helps get you out there, even on the days that you don't really feel like doing it. There's a lot of different activities that people do, like rock steady. One that we heard about is horseback riding. Someone is about to start horseback riding. And that horseback riding has been used in other things for different therapies for autism or counseling. And so they're going to do something for Parkinson's. And it was kind of mixed with this vibrating, technique that we heard about. There was different things with a neuro balance therapy, the yoga therapy. I'm not sure if I'm saying these right, or gyro, where there's like gloves or balls or things that vibrate, and with the gloves, they were talking about when someone puts it on, that a person who couldn't walk through a doorway was able to get up and walk when they had these gloves on. And they witnessed that. So that's something I was curious to see that. But there was also studies about the vibrating, where there was less progression in Parkinson's with people that were going on stagecoach or riding across with horses. So that's another thing that sounds interesting, is the vibrating benefit of the horse, as well as the therapy that you get from horseback riding and being active. And just there's so many activities with pickleball. There is also rock climbing. We're trying to bring taiko. Santa Cruz has taiko, and we're going to do a workshop in Monterey, so trying to do that. And then I also heard you guys about trying to get to know each other better. And sometimes people open up more in the smaller groups. You just feel more comfortable and connecting. So some of those connection games are fun to do, and then just maybe doing a little game night or a summer picnic somewhere, and telling people and just meeting them, that helps. I think I've said most of everything. And then my group, do you have other things to add? We talked about the all-in-one. Roger was saying that that's a really good conference to go to and that everyone should attend.
Yeah, you did great, Naomi. This is Barbara. When, I heard you all talking about at the meetings, the speakers versus non-speakers. And I told my group that, every 3 months I do a lunch and learn and bring a speaker in. So we were actually, our group here, we were talking about for me to do like an exercise lunch and learn and bring in some of the people, because we do have problems getting to people to certain activities, especially the Dance for PD. People, have not been going to it, and it's a free thing. Yeah. So, to do a lunch and learn about all the different exercise programs and have a little snippet of those things, to do that. So I find when I do a lunch and learn, it brings people out. I mean, mainly for the food, but it does get them there, and they get talking and they enjoy it. And then there's more participation in other groups and other programs that we do. So we had a great group, and, lots of enthusiasm, and it really helps me as a group leader, get more ideas from that. So thank you for the opportunity of joining them today.
Yes. First of all, I also want to make sure everybody has saved their chats, because we did put some stuff in there. If you look at your chat open, there's 3 little dots. If you click on them, you can save your chat that way. There was a question, what is taiko?
It's I'm putting it in. It's a form of Japanese drumming, and there's a drum with big. They call it bachi, which is the drumstick. And what's good about it is there's big movements. Sometimes you have to shout, so you're using your voice. There's energy, and there's also exercising the brain, because sometimes you have to remember different hits and how to hit and where to hit. So the rhythms.
Anybody have any final thoughts before we wrap up today?
I have a final thought.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it was mentioned by one of the gentlemen in my group. I think it was Greg. He said there's a phrase that Viktor Frankl used: opportunity is nowhere, but if you separate nowhere, you can also say opportunity is now here. So maybe
Good.
that might be a motivator. I thought that was brilliant. Apparently it was coined by Viktor Frankl.
May I offer a suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Regarding lunches, it might be a hint that other people can use. I've been able to get lunches. We get in touch with all the nursing homes and all the people that are helping us, and we ask them if they'll provide us lunch. I give them then, a few minutes to talk about their agency, whether it's a lawyer's office or it's a nursing home or it's whatever it is, and they provide us lunch. And so then I can say, I offer lunch to everybody, which I think does bring people. And it's, they get in touch with they can order. Lately, they've been ordering in a little packet, which really works out well. So it doesn't end up, people take too much and then the last person in doesn't get anything. Well, it came from COVID that you had to have it all packaged. And that's really worked well, and this way, these people come and talk, and we're getting to know them, and they're helping us. It works out well. So it's not a financial outpouring from anybody. These other agencies are providing it and coming. They want to get to see us. They want to get their name out there. So it works. So if it's helpful to anybody else, that's why I'm sharing it.
What is the average amount of people that people have in a support group, like people with Parkinson's and then care partners separated before they break into another group? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, it does.
What do you guys think is the optimal number?
That subject came up in our meeting. We had, I forget the lady from Texas, I forget which one that was. But anyway, she said they have a very large group. And Bernard pointed out that in theirs, they break into small groups of no more than 6 or 10. And people are more prone to open up that way. And that's when I talked about before, when he said they split them into men and women. Men who feel, that's when I mentioned the barbershop versus beauty salon thing. Men especially tend to be less likely to open up with their feelings in bigger groups, and especially if women are there. Sometimes you break them into smaller groups, they're much more prone and willing to open up with their feelings.
Thanks.
But then sometimes you don't have the facility for it, depending on what kind of room you have, and so there are a lot of other issues that come into play. But typically, you don't want to get into too big of a group when you're trying to have open discussion. If you're having a guest speaker, it's fine. It doesn't matter how big the group is. But if you're trying to have open discussion and you want people to participate and be honest, the smaller the better, meaning down to like 6 or 10, if at all possible.
Thanks.
I concur. I've had them with 5, and it's really draws the conversation out. When I had 11 in one group, it sort of slowed down a little bit. They weren't as active. I can't tell you why. Psychologically, it probably works, but I've noticed 5, 6 is good. You start getting bigger, it's more subdued.
Okay.
Yeah, my groups normally I have one group that runs around 15 people and then another group that's up to 30. I normally start off all my groups with going around and introductions, because there's new people that show up every time. And then they get off on tangents about, what, because they'll say, hi, my name is so-and-so, and this is what I'm having an issue with. And then everybody will pitch in and talk about, their experiences. So it goes really well. It keeps a good flow. But I do like doing small groups. I prefer 10 people or so in a group, because it's much easier to manage and you get to hear everybody. So yeah, I love, small groups are my thing.
Our group it really varies in size. We can be from 8 people to 20 plus. And I concur that size is paramount for group dynamics. All the research on group dynamics says 12 or less per group is ideal. One thing that we do, similar to you, Barbara, is we do a 2 to 3 minute check-in is what we say. And we kind of go around however many people are there. And we promote uninterrupted active listening during the check-in. And if you hear something that intrigues you or you want to know more about, or if you have something more that you want to speak on because something's on your heart or your mind, state that during your check-in, and then we'll come back to you if we have time, and we usually do. So we just kind of go around the room, and most of the time people are pretty good, but there are times when that breaks down because something comes up and people just have to talk about it, and we do the spirit of the law at that point and let it happen.
So you're able to do that for like the whole 90 minutes of your meeting, or for 60 minutes, or?
We have a 60-minute, yeah. And usually it's so interesting. When we have a smaller group and we do that, it breaks down. And we find almost inevitably that the check-in time takes up about the whole time, because people are just kind of adding to. But when the group is larger, people are more willing to stick to the organization or the structure of a check-in time. And then we usually have about 20 minutes in an hour, 20 minutes of open discussion afterwards. And it's just interesting how groups just happen in spite of what we try to schedule.
What do you ask people to give on your check-in time? Their name, what else?
Basically, it's just whatever. Tell us about your week. How was your week gone? And they can say whatever. Some people, if we have a lot of new people there, we say, please add to your check-in how many years your partner, your loved one, your spouse has had Parkinson's, and then just share what's on your mind for this week. So it gives new people a chance and to know the length of time that Parkinson's has been there, and then we let new people have a chance to pass, and they can share if they want to at the very end after they've kind of heard how it goes in the group.
Well,
One of the things that we've done is we've had where we do introductions, and we don't let it go on very long. So we don't do really discussions, but we might do something like, okay, tell us your name and what's your favorite restaurant, because that could bring up, people talking or asking each other about it. And then the other one is, what is your name and how's your weather today? So someone could say, oh, it's really stormy. And so they don't have to go into it at that time, but something is up, or today's sunny, or the sun's going to be breaking through the clouds. So that's something that has helped too, especially when you have a speaker or you want time. Because I know sometimes when we start going around and people start sharing, it could go into the whole time being that. So trying to manage the time.
Well, thanks everyone, because we are over time. So as always, I appreciate everybody showing up and being open and discussing. I look forward to seeing everybody. If I don't see you at an NLO or in a support group, I hope to see you next month at Roundtables. Don't forget to save your chat and have a wonderful week, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.